Senior year of high school. I can't believe I made it this far. And not because I want to sound cliche or sentimental, but honestly, I should not have made it this far. So, like the grateful senior I am, I have to tell you that this world is just as scary as everyone makes it out to be. They're not lying, and I have to tell you how to survive it. Because I think I do know how to survive it. I may not have seen the whole world, I may not have been a young adult just trying to pass their English 101 class, but I have been through things. I can tell you this. To survive, you have to be yourself. And I don't mean that in some cheesy Hannah Montana song kind of way. I mean that you, and only you, determine how you make it in the real world. You, and only you, have the power to make yourself survive. Don't believe me? Here, with this whiteboard, I'm going to show you my life story. My life has shown me that I only need myself, my own ambition, my intuition, to persevere through the hellish twists and turns of life. You with me on this? Whatever, I'm starting anyway. This is my mom. Always grew up in a church home, never even wore pants. She went to service 5 times a week, not a sin on her. This woman is practically Jesus herself. So, naturally, she married a minister. This guy is my father. They met, and within the year, they would be married and traveling around preaching revivals together. But soon, my mother started to listen to his holy messages and realized that they weren't so holy. Women were to be slave to their men who had final authority. Basically, all followers must agree to Jim's word because Jim was the final authority. Oh yeah, not God, Jim. My mom felt trapped, and she was trapped. Once they had their first child, me, my mother and father started roaming around from city to city preaching. We were frequently asked to leave, though, meaning I didn't really have a house, much less did I go to school. But it didn't matter. God would provide. But after having 2 more kids, my sisters, London and Lily, we settled into a maximum security unit farm in Arkansas. This is when my life started to get, well, different and difficult. My mom started to get sick. She had strange marks appearing on her body. She was tired all of the time. She had gained over 200 pounds since her marriage 10 years ago. She was tired, which left me in the position of co-mommy. I helped tend to 2 babies while my mother tended to the 3rd and biggest of them all. Crazy remarks, sneaky money deals, and accusations, brainwashing, emotional abuse, they all left my mother with a sickness she knew she couldn't cure without medication. After 1 more year had passed, my mother left the children for my father and me. At the age of 7, I knew what I had to do to survive. The only thing I could do. I had to become the mother. I was forced to cook, clean, take care of the children, take care of him. I had to do it all. Taking my mother's job meant more than just helping around the house, though. Everything my father had done to my mother was now shoved onto me. When he cried, I had to be there to comfort him. If I wasn't, punishment. I wasn't valued as a person. I was now his property. If he didn't like my hair, I had to change it. If he didn't like my clothes, I had to change them. If he didn't like a word that I had used, I couldn't say it. All of these ended in punishment. If he wasn't at home giving punishments or crying, he was somewhere else. I don't know where, but he made it clear that my bad actions and the loss of his wife made him too depressed to be in the house often. So I was left alone to raise 2 children on my own. No one knew what I was going through. No one knew what was going on at home. Jim was sure to cover it up. Finally, by the time I was 8, my mother had come back to Arkansas to reclaim her children. She didn't have a job. She didn't have a home. We stayed with my mother every once in a while in a mother and children's homeless shelter. But the majority of time was spent miserably with my father. I lived a double life. In private, I was left alone and stalked by Jim when I was with my mother. I didn't know any better. His word was authority. In public, I stayed quiet and took care of the kids. I smiled politely and told myself that I couldn't live without the support of my father. He told me I couldn't live without him, that I needed him. Who else could take care of me? He told me no one would love me like he did, and I believed him. I needed him. He was essential to my survival. I was hooked in the same way my mother had been for 11 years. Until I was 10, my mother lived in Arkansas with full custody of us 3 girls. Those 2 years of my life were spent being terrorized by Jim. He once put a note on my mother's door telling her that she was evil and he would put 200 snakes on her doorsteps in the morning. He put sugar in her gas tank. He ran us out of church. He stalked us around the city, crying and begging for my sisters and me back. His excuse? He was trying to win us back. He was heartbroken that we had left him, and I was the cause of his heartbrokenness. I felt awful and terrible, and I did whatever I could do to make him proud of me. I would watch him hit my sisters on their behinds and leave marks on them and say that they were given by my mother. I took beatings and I reported them to the court. I told lie after lie to mend my father's broken heart, but I was miserable. Trying to be normal with my mom who had just moved to Kentucky and trying to raise children and fix my father and comply to his every wish in Arkansas grew exhausting. My life grew exhausting, and I wasn't happy, but what was I to do? How was I going to get by without what I had? If I stopped seeing my father, I wouldn't be safe. I wouldn't know how to dress, how to be a woman, what to say. I wouldn't be loved. But when I turned 12, something in me knew that I really wasn't okay. Survival for me depended on so much. It depended on things that I was not willing to do anymore. So I decided to stop surviving. But by some miraculous good fortune, I still survived. Choking and broken, I picked myself up from off the bathroom floor, and at the end of the week, I left the state of Arkansas and thoughts of suicide behind me, never to return. I'm not gonna lie to you. After I left my father, things haven't been easy. A family can't be the same after dealing with someone like Jim McGill. We're not a typical family, and we're not a model family. I'm not a model person, but I do know this. I'm still here recording this last lecture.
Hi class, hi Miss Barnes. See, I guess my lesson is that you really can do anything, and you alone have what it takes to survive. I know that most of you haven't had crazy life experiences like me or like somebody else, but that doesn't mean you can't apply this to your life. Next year when you're in college and you're trying to take an exam that you don't think you're going to pass, remember that you can do anything. You and you alone can make yourself pass the exam and pass the class. If you're going through a hard breakup, don't worry about it. You don't need that person to survive anyway because you can determine your own happiness. And if you feel like it's the end of the world and you're really sad, remember that you can get through it. You and you alone can survive. You and you alone can make yourself get up and be okay. And that's what we all need to do. We all need to pick ourselves up sometimes and just be okay. We all have so much power and so much strength inside of us that we don't really know that we have. So I hope that after my last lecture you learned that you have strength inside of you, strength that you don't think you have, strength that if you use it, you can survive anything. You can use to do anything. We're all gonna be okay, I promise. So, that's it for my really long last lecture. Hope you guys enjoyed it.